It's certainly not funny, but for many in rural Ontario, inadequate internet access is something of a running joke. That's part of what assistant editor at TVO.org, Ashley Okwuosa, found as she looked into this story in Eastern Ontario. She's with us now from the west end of Toronto to explain. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so there were two takeaways from your piece on TVO.org. One was I take my internet access for granted. Two, there are some parts of this province that are still sort of in the dial-up age. You spoke to families who are juggling the homeschooling and the working from home. Tell us what you heard.
Yeah, so I spoke to two families in Duro-Dummer, which is a township in Peterborough. And, both families said that they've been having issues with connectivity, internet issues for as long as they can remember, some for as long as they've lived in the township. So what we were seeing was just that these issues were exacerbated by the fact that everyone was working from home. So one family went from having, one person work from home maybe one day a week to, four people working from home and trying to go to school or Zoom classes and things like that 4 to 5 days a week. And one family, they actually had to stagger when they would get on the internet. So maybe like the parents will be doing calls at one time and students will be or their kids will be going to school at another time. For another family, cost was such a major issue because if they did go over how much internet access they had, they would have to pay anywhere between $400. So, this woman that I spoke to, she kind of mentioned that she was rationing her internet. So it really is different from, what a lot of other people experience, but it is a reality for many families in several parts of Eastern Ontario.
I want to talk about broadband demand in Eastern Ontario. Sheldon, can we bring up this map and actually tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah, so this is a map from the Eastern Ontario Regional Network, and it's just mapping out demand in the region. Pink, that there are a few pink dots here, and that shows that there are about more than 20 household equivalents between one square kilometer. Blue, actually, no, green shows that there are anywhere between 2 to 20 household equivalents between 1 square kilometer, and then blue shows anywhere between one, and then white is where there's no demand. What this map doesn't show is that about 46% of households in the region have access to 5010 megabits per second, which is the minimum required internet speed by the CRTC. And if you add, urban communities in the region, it gets to about 63%. So it still shows that there are, a significant amount of people who don't have access to the minimum required speed.
So let's talk about that. What exactly makes up a functioning broadband connection?
So my reporting, I kind of came across three things that people were talking about a lot. So that's upload speed, download speed, and latency. So upload speed, as the name suggests, is really how quickly you can get information from your server or router to an external one. Download speed is really, the opposite, right? How quickly you can get information from an external one down to yours. And latency is really the speed at which data transfers from different sources. So a source that I spoke to in my story kind of described latency as traffic. So, if there are a lot of cars on the road, it's harder for you to travel quickly. And then if there are less cars on the road, it's easier for you to move. So things like upload, download, and latency affect things like video conferencing, right? So if you do want to go on Zoom and have your audio and video on at the same time, those are things you have to think about.
It sounds like a dumb question, but why is this problem so complex? Why isn't there an easy fix here? Put up some towers.
I think it's a good question. I think a lot of very smart people are still trying to figure out. But what I did gather was that it's just really expensive. Someone kind of mentioned that getting broadband access across the province and even across the country would really be a multi-level partnership, and it'll involve, everything from the federal government to the provincial government, smaller, private partners as well. And EORN, for one example, has kind of estimated it to cost about over $1 billion to get 1 gigabit per second to parts of Eastern Ontario. The province has, put forth a 5-year investment of, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then there's a Universal Broadband Fund, which is at, 1.7 billion now. So I think it's really expensive, and it just does require a lot of people to come together to make it happen.
One thing that we've seen with this pandemic is some call it an exodus, some are calling it a movement out of the big city into these rural communities. What does, having a good internet connection do and have for these municipalities when we talk about an economic effect or impact?
Yeah, I think that did come up when I was talking to one of the counselors at Duradummer, and she kind of mentioned that a lot of people are, yes, like you did mention, a lot of people are making, this move to rural communities for whatever reason, but they are kind of, before they make that decision, internet is something that they're taking into consideration, right? So she said before people moved into communities, they would say, "Oh, I wonder what the schools are like here." But now, people are doing that in addition to schools and other things. They're thinking, "I wonder what the connectivity is like here." This didn't make it into the story, but I spoke to someone from the Federation of Ontario Cottagers Association, which represents, community organizations across, the province, hundreds of municipalities across the province, and they estimated that these waterfront communities or cottages in rural parts of Ontario bring in about $75 billion in property taxes. So that's, thinking about that number being
Mm.
at stake because of internet connectivity is pretty significant.
Yeah, very big number. Ashley Okwuosa, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this show today. That's Ashley Okwuosa, assistant editor at TVO.org. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.